Hello. A client recently submitted a question to me and asked me, why do I keep over-investing in dead-end relationships? Well, I laugh a little bit because we've all done that at some point or another. I've done it, you've done it, everybody's done it, right? So first of all, I want you to know that this question is not just women expressing that they've over-invested in a relationship. In fact, many of my male clients have also expressed to me that they sometimes over-invest in a dead-end relationship. So what's funny about this question is that there's a recognition that it's a dead-end relationship. So then what causes us to over-invest? So, well, one of the reasons, and I'm going to give you one reason because there's many reasons this can happen. So this may or may not resonate 100%, but what I will say is it will at least definitely land with you at some level. Okay, so one of the reasons we overinvest in a relationship that we know is not going to progress anywhere is because we think that if we changed our behavior and our actions, that somehow, magically, everything will fall in place. So, in effect, we have the mirror so strongly in front of us that we don't see that the mirror can also be turned the other way. So understand that relationships are a two-way street. They're not a one-way street. However, when we have grown up in households where we were shown that we must be the ones initiating a certain type of behavior and a change or reconciliation in a relationship, we might have absorbed this thinking and belief pattern straight within us without questioning it. Consciousness is about you recognizing what is yours to keep and what is someone else's to keep. This is a very important aspect of being conscious. There are a lot of misconceptions in the spiritual communities that if you now become conscious, you are now 100% giving and you are always open in your heart and you're the person that will go to the end of the world to make things work with this other person. I want you to really look at that closely, because the reality is that consciousness is also about you recognizing that you are a human being that is living in this world. Okay? And so you have your needs, wants, and desires as much as the other side has their needs, wants, and desires. So you're not in the game of forsaking what you want and need in favor of giving everything to the other person in the hopes that this relationship will come to you. That would be what I call a codependent relationship, not an equal or fair partnership. So the first belief shift you must have is that the relationship is not completely in your hands. You're not the only participant in the relationship. Something that's very true about relationships is that there is you, then there is the other side, and then there is the entity, the third entity of the relationship. The you is yourself as an individual who stands alone. The other side is that individual standing alone. Now, if you forsake yourself, then you train the other side that there's nothing you need from them. You then can't turn around and tell them, this is your problem. Okay? So what I want you to get in the habit of doing is to understand that you do not need to be at the altar sacrificing everything you came here to want in a relationship or need in a relationship. This is a pattern for many men and women, not just women. Okay? So I want you to recognize that you are a standalone entity in the relationship. You do not need to lose that entity in order to be in relationship. Similarly, they're not expected to lose their entity just because they're in relationship with you. The greater good of the relationship is served when you both recognize and realize that you are independent entities, and yet you have an area in the relationship where you both are united and come together for the sake of the relationship. So you are not going to forsake, they're not going to forsake. And there are no compromises involved in a relationship that is fair and equal and interdependent. On the other hand, a codependent relationship involves one sacrificing their needs, one making compromises, and the other sacrificing their needs and compromising their needs in order to keep the relationship. But this is clearly a model that cannot be sustained, especially when we talk about professionals like you and I who are ambitious and driven to actually be on our own just as much as we are driven to want to be in relationship. So that model and paradigm must shift. So the fundamental belief shift you must have is that the old ways of thinking and perceiving and acting in a relationship will not serve the relationship that you actually want to be in, that is actually best for you. Now, with this frame of mind, with this new frame of mind, I should say, you can now step into a way to realize where your old belief is coming from. You might have observed and learned from your parents. You might have absorbed this as a cultural standard that you must keep on giving in order to keep the relationship. So I want you to recognize that and write down what are the perceived advantages to you keeping that belief that somehow you're the one that needs to do all the work in the relationship for the relationship to stay in place. This is really key because if you're 100% transparent with yourself and you are in tune with yourself, you will realize exactly why you are doing what you are doing and what benefits you're getting from doing that. I will tell you that in 15 to 20 years of working with human behavior and in relationship coaching and professional coaching, human beings do not do anything until and unless they perceive an advantage to doing it. So write down what it is that you perceive as an advantage to receiving as a result of you being the one to tell yourself that you must change all the time. What is the benefit you're getting from that? Get clear on that, and you will see that this has been as much about you as it has been about the other side. And when you can see that clearly, you are actually starting to open your heart to look at where you have been wounded or hurt in the past that is not going to serve the relationship that you truly desire in your heart. And this is what the essence is. This is what the experience is trying to show you. And so if you can tune into what the experience is trying to show you, you can let go of the old habit that is not serving you any longer. You can then step into a new relationship that nourishes and nurtures you, that allows you to step into a new realm of creating an equal, fair partnership in which you are as honored as the other side is, and you do not feel like you need to make compromises, and you do not need to change yourself in order to be in relationship. This is truly where relationships are headed, and it's what we're seeing as a shift. This is one of the reasons I'm doing the work I'm doing with relationships on this planet. So step in the game, own yourself, and look at what advantages you're getting from keeping the old belief or pattern. And that will allow you to step into a new way of thinking and acting that will change the reality of the relationships that you're attracting and the space that you hold for yourself within the relationship. Have a good day.